Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. It is Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, a couple days before Christmas. Hope all of you are getting your last minute shopping done, hopefully not using credit cards, and having so far a nice weekend. I appreciate all of you tuning in to the channel. I appreciate the comments I receive and try to respond to. I appreciate you guys liking and sharing the videos. I really appreciate you doing that. The number of likes aren't even close to the number of views we're getting, and same with sharing. It's important that we share these videos and this content among our family, our friends, our coworkers, and colleagues to keep getting the word out of what is unfolding. I know I'm like a broken record every day, but it is unfolding. The pillars are falling. And this thing is going to get, I think, potentially pretty ugly in 2024. But for those that are ready and are thinking ahead and are planning and are working on saving some money if they can, working on improving their credit score if they can, I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities available to take advantage of. And I will, this will roll into one of the stories I saw today I want to share with you. But again, thank you for watching, and please share the videos and like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. So the first article I saw today came out yesterday afternoon at Fortune, and it really fries me. This kind of crap really bothers me because it's the justification, and it's for why people's behaviors are so poor when it comes to money, saving, spending, getting into debt. And it's indicative from my perspective of, where we are at as a nation, why we are the greatest debtor nation of all time, both from a government debt perspective and from our own consumer debt perspective. So let me share this with you. It says Gen Z are so annoyed that they can't get on the housing market, that they're doom spending, doom spending, on nice things that make them feel like grown-ups. We all want to feel good, right? We're in a society right now, immediate gratification above and beyond all else, and I think it is a problem. This says home ownership was once a rite of passage into adulthood, along with settling down, starting a family, and finally enjoying the fruits of your labor. No pun intended with the fruit in the background. But the American dream feels so out of reach for young people today that they're not even bothering to save up for the future. It says, instead, Gen Z and young millennials are doom spending by splashing out on luxury escapes, Taylor Swift concert tickets, and designer goods to cope with their financial limitations. It says, quote, when older people ask me how young people are affording nice things that they wouldn't even buy for themselves, I tell them it's because we can't afford anything else. Maria Melchior, a 27-year-old financial content creator, explained to millions of TikTok users. So this Maria Melchior is a financial content creator justifying why I haven't looked at her stuff. I'm not on TikTok, but evidently justifying why it makes sense for these younger generations to go out and instead of saving and looking ahead and seeing what's going on so they can take advantage of opportunities that are going to be coming, they're blowing all their cash on stupid stuff to impress their friends. It says home ownership or starting a family is so out of reach that we are using that down payment or kid money on whatever it is that we can afford that'll bring us a semblance of the kind of adulthood we were promised, she continued in a viral video. Number one, you're not promised a darn thing. You have to work for it. You have to earn it. Whoever said there's a guarantee in life? And it's this whole idea everybody gets a first place prize now. So look at, I can't imagine somebody misleading others more than this person is. She continued, when houses are $1 million plus and an older couple will likely outbid us anyway, we're going to relinquish any lingering delusions about home ownership. Essentially, splurging feels better than stressing out about the fact that they will probably be renting into retirement. That is such a short-sighted, immature, in my opinion, analysis. And all it does is justify the debt-fueled spending that the consumers in this economy are embarking on. It says nothing to personal responsibility. It says nothing to working hard and saving for the opportunities. Anybody who pays attention to any kind of, and this financial expert, evidently, she's 27 years old, so she's never lived through any real downturn. So, everything goes in cycles, and we are embarking on, in my opinion, a cycle in real estate that is going to make a lot of real estate opportunities available for people, both from a residential perspective and a commercial perspective. So these people, from my perspective, rather than going out and blowing their money on concert tickets and fancy handbags and fancy shoes and vacations, they should consider socking that money away because when this cycle continues its downturn and starts to get closer to a bottom, from my perspective, they would probably be able to step in. And by the way, and also season some cash. You have to have some money set aside in an account for a period of time so that when you go to get a mortgage, your mortgage lender looks at you and not only says, do you have the down payment, but do you have enough funds? Every lender's different. Sometimes they want 6 months or a year that you have seasoned, meaning it's been sitting there for a while in an account that you're going to be able to service that debt on a monthly basis. So folks, stop thinking, again, I'm not saying all of you, a lot of you are here because we're all the same mindset, but this kind of stuff just fries me because the thinking pattern and the delusions that are put out there are literally beyond comprehension. She says, my mother asking me when I'm going to stop traveling and buy a house. I can't afford a house right now, but I can travel. Once again, immediate gratification, nothing towards thinking towards the future, nothing towards saving. Meanwhile, with a looming recession, multiple ongoing wars, and climate change, it says, climate change, sure, and a catastrophic tipping point, others voice doubt about whether the future is even worth investing in. All right, so that's like why make your bed in the morning when you get up because you're going to sleep in it that night anyway, right? That's the same kind of short-sighted, immature mentality that's plaguing this country right now. Think like successful people. Think big, make plans, and set a goal and work towards that. Quote, she says, I just tell myself I deserve, once again, I deserve what we were promised, what I deserve. So I deserve to enjoy life right now since it's going to go to hell pretty soon anyway, one user wrote. So live for today. Don't think about tomorrow. And of course, here we go. Future is not guaranteed. It's crumbling before our eyes. Another added, enjoying what we have while we can is the way to go. So, and it says Gen Z is not alone, although young people are most likely to be doom spending. They're not alone in the habit. Even older generations are hopelessly splashing their cash and turning to retail therapy. A quarter of Americans, it says, under a research from Credit Karma, are doom spending in order to manage their worries about the macroeconomy and foreign affairs. Doom spending. Mindlessly shopping to soothe concerns about the economy and foreign affairs, which could take a toll on their financial well-being. If you're feeling stressed, you're not alone. Well, okay, stress is good. Stress motivates. There's nothing wrong with stress. There's nobody that's successful that doesn't have stress. Every time I go into court, every time I log on for a court hearing, my heart rate raises. I feel stress. You get that adrenaline. You have to feel that. Successful people, will tell you that. There's a certain edge you have to get. This stuff, this doom spending, whatever they're calling it, is ridiculous, people. Figure this out or you're going to fail. And those of us that understand the process are not going to feel sorry for you. I'll tell you right now. If you think it's more important to go out and swipe the credit cards or spend whatever money you could be saving now on a bunch of mindless stuff so you feel good and you get what you think you deserve and what you were promised, good luck to you. Next article is Zero Hedge. Sorry I'm fired up on that. it caught me wrong. I don't know if you guys will feel the same way about this. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate comments about that, but good. Bring it on. I want to hear everyone's perspective. That is totally undefendable from my perspective from every metric. Okay, zero hedge, the misery index near its lowest level since pre-COVID, but are Americans happy? It says the sum, this is from Hedge today, this morning. The sum of U.S., so the misery index is the sum of U.S. unemployment and inflation. And that misery index fell to 6.8% in November from 7.5% the previous month. That's the lowest since the summer and fast approaching pre-COVID levels, it says. The misery index is calculated by adding up the current unemployment rate, 3.7%, if you believe it, and the inflation rate, 3.1%, if you believe that. The formula provides a simple way to gauge whether the well-being of Americans is improving or not. It says misery peaked in April of 2020 when the index spiked to 15%, the highest since 1982. Conditions have improved since the early onset of the pandemic, but it has not been smooth sailing. It says economists warn that the misery index doesn't offer a complete picture of how the average American is doing. No surprise. You can just tell by asking them how they feel about the economy and personal finances. Economist Greg Ip, who heads economic commentary at the Wall Street Journal, compared the misery index to the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index, one of the most widely or closely watched consumer surveys. Based upon historic correlations, it says sentiment has been more depressed this year than you would expect given the level of economic misery. IP wrote, arguing that consumers are more pessimistic than the misery index would suggest. This is a separate sentiment survey from LSEG, paints an even less enthusiastic picture of the average consumer. The December Primary Consumer Sentiment Index, which measures Americans' attitudes towards jobs, investments, the economy, and personal finances, declined from November and was only up slightly compared to 12 months earlier. According to the survey, attitudes towards the current situation, investments, and jobs showed significant declines this month. And here's the icing on the cake. This is the conclusion says Americans aren't celebrating the slowdown in inflation because they're still reeling from the cumulative price increases of the last 3 years. While inflation has fallen to 3.1%, consumer prices have increased by a cumulative 19% since the start of 2020. Food prices are up a whopping 25% over that period. So let me ask you a question. Have your wages gone up between 19 and 25% since the start of 2020? I would venture to say absolutely not. So the misery index, from my perspective, is useless. It doesn't really track what's going on the ground with people. And the last item I want to cover briefly, so I don't go too long here today, is this Operation Prosperity Guardian, which we talked about a few days ago, dealing with this Red Sea issue. Sorry, I hit the microphone. The Red Sea issue, where the shippers are no longer shipping freight through the Red Sea into the Suez Canal because of the Houthi attacks. And the Pentagon came out last week and said, well, we're putting together this Operation Prosperity Guardian, which will be all us and our allies that will provide security for these shipping routes, so that the shipping companies feel confident that they can use that route to ship goods across the world. I guess as of today, Zero Hedge reports that Australia is the latest. It's falling apart. It's collapsing. So what is it going to mean? We will see. But it says Australia is the latest country to reject a request from the United States to send warships to the Red Sea, under the command of the Pentagon's Operation Prosperity Guardian, to protect commercial vessels along the critical maritime trade route from Iran-backed Houthi attacks. So Australia's pulled out, and Reuters says about 20 countries have signed up for the Pentagon's new operation. However, several countries, including Australia, Spain, Italy, and France, have rejected the Pentagon's request to participate in the operation. It says Operation Prosperity Guardian in the Red Sea has practically collapsed, as France, Spain, and Italy have all announced their withdrawal from the U.S. command structure for the operation, with the three nations stating they will only conduct further maritime operations under the command of NATO and or the European Union and not the United States. So look, what's the message this sends to the United States? The message this sends is that we are weak. We are weakened as a country. The fact that our commander-in-chief cannot muster the support of allies to provide these security measures along these important trade routes is very telling about how far, from my perspective, how far the United States has fallen on the world stage. So listen to this. As of Saturday morning, the number of container ships in the Red Sea with destinations to Asia, Europe, and the United States is less than five ships now. So what they're doing is they are rerouting all these ships down around Africa. It's taking several weeks longer. It takes obviously a lot more in energy. The insurance costs are going through the roof now, and we're going to have delays. IKEA announced a few days ago they're already expecting delays in their products to stock their shelves because of this. There's going to be delays. There could be supply chain disruptions. This is going to probably have a major impact on fuel costs as well. So let's keep an eye on it. Remember, it says this critical waterway is responsible for 10 to 12% of the world's maritime freight. Vessels are now being diverted around the Cape of Good Hope, Africa. Like I said, adding 1 to 2 weeks in travel time, and the rates have skyrocketed. And in closing, it says Red Sea is now largely closed to traffic. That's 8.8 million barrels per day of daily oil transit and nearly 380 million tons of daily cargo transit. It adds 40% to go down around Africa, 40% to the voyage distance, and even more to the cost. The fact that 7 major shipping companies have halted sales through the Red Sea shows the lack of confidence in the United States protecting this critical waterway. What a joke. What a joke. Let's see how it unfolds. Sorry, I'm a little fired up today on some of these articles, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Today's my day off from working out. I didn't say that I don't do anything. I still walk, I still move, I still get steps in. Still very active so far today. Hope all of you will take the opportunity and get your exercise in, get your steps in, walk, hydrate, do some strength training. Really important to keep muscle tone. And this is so important for both our physical health and our mental health. So hope the content was acceptable today and that you guys got something out of this. I went a little bit long. It's Saturday. I'll probably upload this a little later on in the day today, but I wanted to get it out before I have some plans, some things to attend later on today. We're still working on Saturday, still working back and forth emails with counsel on that joint venture dispute. It's looking a little bit dicey. It's tough negotiations. We may end up back in court on this next week on the injunction motion. So still working on Saturday. Emails are hitting the wire this morning. I was on conference calls with the client and responding, trying to formulate strategy. So it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Doesn't mean you shouldn't start your own business, guys. I think it's very, very important to consider. I hope all of you have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.